All right, this is the undramatic howdy. Welcome to Guided Practice for Word, Chapter 3, What Fun We're Going to Have. So first of all, we have to get there. So Unit 3 is Word Chapter 2, Unit 4 is Word Chapter 3. And we go to your checklist. And I hope that you find this a very convenient way to access the items that you need. We go down here to Guided Project, and I'm going to click on this, and it's going to open up the guided project for me, and I'm going to click Download Materials. And again, I don't like to download all files because it does it in a zipped folder, and I find that much less convenient. So I just click Download, 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 Download. And again, this is always going to be your instructions, and this is always going to be your student file. If I had done them 1, 2, 3, 4, but actually the last two I did were the instructions in the student file. So I open this one, it's my instructions, and I drag it over to the other monitor. Hi! I'm so sorry, but we're going to move on anyway. And I minimize this, and then I open this one, which is my student file, which obviously opens on the other window because that's so convenient. All right, here we go. And the description of our project is that we are preparing a letter to customers of a home store in which we're describing home efficiency improvements. We're going to use tables to organize information, and we're going to merge the document with the data to create personalized letters. So for the purposes of grading the project, you're required to perform the following tasks. And it says open and save your file. And I'm just going to allow my file to save into downloads because I know that's always where it's going to be. Now it wants us to move to the last page of the document, and again, we're going to go Control End to get to the last page of the document. Control End, and it puts us at the very end of the document. And convert the text beginning with under 100 and ending with update maintenance to a table. So I'm going to highlight this. This is the coolest thing I have to say. And oddly enough, we want to convert, but we're going to go to the Insert menu, and we're going to go to Insert Table, and then Convert Text to Table. And then it asks us how it's going to know what to do. So whether it's tabs or commas, and you can see right here, because we have our paragraph marks displayed, that it is tabs. And so it's okay. And it also tells us that it detects 4 columns and 5 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. It's very important to remember that your title row is also a row. So when it tells you to do something to row 1, 2, or 3, it's not talking, the rows don't start counting at your first content row. So we hit OK, and now we have a table. And we wanted to accept all defaults, and we want to insert an additional blank paragraph before the new table. So we have 1 blank paragraph right there, and all I have to do is hit enter, and I now have 2 blank paragraphs before the table. It wants us to insert a new row, and what I'm doing is scrolling up so that I keep my current instruction at the top. Insert a row above row 1 in the new table and type Home Improvement Tips. So when I click, you'll notice I get that right-facing arrow, and as I click it, it automatically highlights. Now there's a variety of ways that I can insert, but you'll see that once I selected it, I got these up, and it just automatically knows that these are the things you're going to want to do whenever you select a row. So insert and insert above. Now I want to show you that on our layout, we also have insert above, insert left, right, split cells, merge cells. But it wants us to type Home Improvement Tips. And then it wants us to merge all the cells in the row, so I can click like that, and then I can go here to merge cells. And that makes all of them one cell. Bold and center the text in the row, so I'm going to hit center and Control B because I like keyboard rather than having to switch to a different menu to find bold. So that is Control plus B as in bold. And and change the font size in size text in row 1 to 18 points. So I've still got it selected, and I'm going to have to go over here anyway to change it to 18 points. There we go. I actually could have probably gotten my right click and done that, which would have been faster than going up there to that menu. Now it wants us to bold and center the text in row 2. So I'm going to select row 2. Again, I get that right facing arrow. I hit click, and it wants it bolded and centered. So bold, center, there we go. That was easy. Now we want to auto fit the contents. So I'm going to right click and go to auto fit, and auto fit to contents right there. It wants us to center the table horizontally on the page. So I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to go to table properties. And table properties, it's very simple. Right here, center. And then while we're in table properties, it wants us to center the table horizontally, shade row 1 with blue accent 1. So I'm going to go to row 1, blue accent 1. So I can go to table properties and shading. Sorry, what I really wanted to do is go to the design and go, let's see, do I still have row 1 selected? Go to shading and blue accent 1 lighter 40%. So blue accent 1 lighter 60%, lighter 80%, lighter 40%, I'm going to say. There we go. Shade row 2 with blue accent 1 lighter 80%. So I can pull shading down right here. Lighter 80% is even lighter. And apply blue accent 1 darker 25% 1/2 point size double line border. Now this is where it's easy to get very confused. I'm going to pull this instruction over to show you. And this is in the tips and tricks on your first page. It goes through the way that they do the instructions. Apply a blue accent 1, darker 25%, 1/2 point size, double line border. How about apply a double line border, comma, blue accent 1? But no, they do it the opposite of that. So to the outside of the table, let's apply a double line border. Okay, so we're going to want to select the whole table. And we can go to borders. Actually, I don't want to go to border styles. I want to go to borders here, and I'm going to go to the borders and shading, and I'm going to apply this to the table. So it wants a double line. So we're going to scroll down here to double line. There's my double line. And it wants blue accent 1, 1/2 point. So blue accent 1, that's blue, accent 1, darker 25%, lighter, darker 50%, darker 25%. And it's applying it to the outside. I don't want it there. I just want it on the outside of the table. I could have clicked box border, and it would have been on the outside. So I hit OK, and I have that lovely little blue double line all the way around my border. And I'm going to scroll here so that I get that instruction out of the way. Now I want to another one of these instructions. And I have done these over and over again. Delete the first column months. And I'm looking at this table and going, there's no first column months. From the table at the top of page 2. Read the whole sentence and don't get caught up with the first part because that is a huge mistake that they made. It should say, move to the table at the top of page 2 and delete the first column months. So learning to decipher. Now I am on page 2, but it wants the first table here and it wants that first column months. So once I get there and I get a down facing arrow, and I can click delete columns, and months has gone away. And insert a row above row 1 and merge the cells in the row and type. So I'm going to go to right click, insert, row above, merge them. They're all highlighted, so I go to the layout tab and I hit merge, and then I want to top return on investment, estimates for household energy efficiency improvements. And then it wants us to apply the table style, grid table 2, accent 3. So we're going to design table styles, grid, accent 1, accent 6, let's see. Okay, 1, 2, no, accent 1. Oh, glory, hallelujah. I think it's one of these yellow ones. Grid table 2, accent 3. Grid table 1, grid table 3, grid table 2. Grid table 2, accent 1, darker 25%. Grid table 2, accent 1, grid table 2, accent 2. Wow. Well, grid table 2, accent 1. Oh, it says row 2, column 4 under grid tables. Let's see if that's true. Row 2, column 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's grid table 2, accent 3. So that's not really very helpful. There we go. Grid table 2, accent 1. And I think that's actually the one I had already chosen, but accent 1 was not popping up on my tooltip. Little things. Now, insert a row between rows 5 and 6 between attic insulation and duct ceiling. So, attic insulation, duct ceiling. And I could just hit the little plus there, and that does it. That's pretty handy dandy. And type the following data. Wrap water pipes. No. I'm not very good at talking while I type. That's very interesting. I guess I don't multitask as well as I think I do sometimes. Now it wants us to remove bold formatting from rows 3 through 8 in column 1. So 1, 2, 3. I'll just do Control B because it's just like a little toggle switch. It just turns it off and on. Ensure that the text in rows 1 and 2 is bold, and it wants like all of the text, so I'm going to select both of them and do Control B. It turned it off, and now it turned it on for everything in both rows. We want to center the table horizontally, so I'm going to go to Table Properties, and I'm going to go to Table, Center, okay. There we go. It's centered horizontally on the row. And we want to insert a row after the last row. So remember that on layout we could insert below. There we go. And we want to type total. And in the 5th cell in the last row, we want to enter a formula to total the annual savings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 annual savings. Let's total them. So if I go here to formula, it already says sum above. That's the correct one. And it wants it to format the total as currency. So right here, I'm going to give it currency, and it's the one with the dollar sign. It would be really nice if it actually said currency, and if you'll notice right there, it puts it in very nicely. And change the annual savings for the high efficiency shower head to $35. So high efficiency shower head, we're going to change it to $35. Now these totals don't automatically update, so the instructions ask us to do that. So when I hit update field, the value changes to update, and it's just that simple. Now we want to insert a column to the right of cost per unit. So I can go up here to insert right, and it will do that for me. In rows 3 through 8 of the new column, we want to enter a formula that increases the cost per unit by 3%. And it tells us what the formula is. So it is equal F3 times, which is the asterisk, 0.03 plus F3. Silly me. Should have clicked on the formula. I could have done never mind. Convert to text or convert to formula. Anyway, equals F3 plus 0.03 times 0.03. Sorry. F3 times 0.03 plus F3. Now, what is that doing? This is not math, but what it's doing is it's F3 times 0.03 is the increase, 3% increase, and then you got to add that increase into that F3. We could have just typed 1.03 times F3, and it would have done the same thing, but that wasn't what it asked us to do. And it wants this to be currency, so I'm going to hit OK, 824. Now I can just copy this, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. But there's a problem, and so I'm going to go in here, Edit Field, Formula, and then the 3 needs to be changed to 4, because it's not like Excel that when you copy it down, it copies the reference down 1. But this is still pretty simple. Edit Field, Formula, this one needs to be 5. Really sorry, it seems as if allergies have gotten the better of me. Apparently something blew in with this rain. And this will be 6. And this will be 7. And this will be 8. There we go. And all results should be formatted as currency, which they are. We want to check spelling and correct any mistakes, also accepting any suggestions. All right. So I'm going to go to review, check spelling and grammar, desirable change. Okay, that's done. It tells us that it's on an 8.9 grade level. Always interesting. And then it wants us to add a caption on table 1, and that is most definitely table 1. So I'm going to right click, insert caption. Let's pay special attention to the instructions shown below. So we have to change this below selected item. And then it wants it to say table 1, return on investment. Okay, there we go. And modify the caption style. Okay, this is important because I can change just this, but this is asking me to modify a style. Technically, a caption style is a paragraph style, and if we go here, we see caption. Yes, it's a caption. I wanted to right click and hit modify. So we're going to modify the style to include blue italicized, bold italicized font with font color of blue. So it needs to be bold. It's already italicized, and it wants it to be blue accent 1, darker 50%. So blue accent 1, lighter 40%, darker 25%. This is so dark that it's going to look like black. And then save the document. Control S. Save the document. Insert a page break at the top of the document. Control Home. Control Enter. And then move to the top of the newly inserted page. Control Home again. And insert the text from the thanks document. So insert object, text from a file, click by date modified, thanks is right there. There we go, it's our letter. And then start a mail merge to create a letter. So we're going to go to mailings, start mail merge, letters. All right. And then we're going to go to select recipients, use an existing list, and it's going to be in downloads. I told you this would simplify your life. Date modified. And, well, I thought I downloaded everything. And I did download everything. These icons are just so small. So this is the file that we want to use. It's an Excel file. And we want to use sheet 1. You wouldn't always want to use sheet 1. Now it wants us to insert an address block below the date. So below the date, we're going to insert the address block. This is a very handy dandy thing. And here's a preview of it. So it already has title and first name, last name. We're going to hit OK. And then following the space after the word dear, we're going to insert the title followed by a space and the last name. So after dear, after a space, we go to insert merge print title. We have to put a space because if we don't, it's going to slam them together. And the last name. Sorry, I was reading the instruction. Last name. There we go. Do not delete the colon, replace student name at the end of the letter with Brett Sams. Preview the letters and adjust the spacing so that the text exists with single spacing and the address spacing. All right, so let's preview the letters. So preview results. And that didn't really work out there because that did not put Mr. Daniel Habersham. Oh, weird. Oh, never mind. That's our return address. So here we go. Now we want this to have no paragraph spacing. So we're going to go to home. We're going to go to paragraph, single and no space after, 0. And okay. And that didn't work out either. Oh, 24 points before. Really don't want that, do we? Okay, there we go. That's the way it's supposed to look, just like this address is single spaced. So complete the merge of all records, producing a document that contains 2 letters, 4 pages each. So now I go back to mailings and I go finish and merge and edit individual documents. And I want all of them, okay. And I should, so I've got Mr. Habersham here, and then the entire document, and then I have Miss Mary Slate, and it says page 4 of 40. Something weird is going on. Oh, something weird is going on, and I know what it is. I'm going to close this and not save it. Don't save. We missed an instruction. So we've got to go back to edit recipient list. Let's go back and find out what instruction that was. So easy to happen. Oh, hit cancel. Okay, so it said it wanted only records with a zip of 65757. We don't want 50 pages. So we're going to go to edit recipient list, and then I can go over here to zip and go 65757. That is what we want, the very first one, and there's only 2. Okay. Now let's finish and merge and edit individual documents and all of them and go, okay, how many pages do I have? 1 of 8. Voila. Mr. Daniel Habersham and Miss Mary Slater, and no more after that. Now, this is the weird part because it's going to want you to copy all of this. So we complete the merge. We do Control A, which selects everything, Control C, which copies, or I could do right-click copy, either way. And then we go back. This one says letters to. That is our merged document. Now we're going back to the form that we created at the very top of it and do Control Home. So we want to insert a page break at the top, and then we want to do Control Home again to get in front of that page break, and then do Control V and copy those merged documents. So now we have 13 pages. And we save this, and this is what you submit to the grading engine. So I'm going to close, save yes. Now in this case, you probably wouldn't have wanted to have overwritten your original file. So if you have to go back and make corrections, it becomes a lot more complicated. And what you would end up doing, so I'm going to open that back up and I'm going to show you what you would end up doing. So this is letters 2. That was the one that has no merge codes in it. That is the pure raw text. I'm going to close it because I do not need it anymore and I don't want to bother saving it. Well, I'll show you the choose file and submit, although you should know that by now. We click date modified. We bring the latest one up to the top. It says 3:30. Right down here, I see 3:30. I double click. It puts it there. I upload and I submit for grading and I close the assignment. And what you're going to want to do is we're going to go to downloads and we're going to open up that document. So I'm going to click date modified twice. There we go, 323. Let's see if I'm at the top. Okay. Oh, no, that's not what I want actually. Okay, so just for the record, I absolutely did submit the wrong file because I got in too big of a hurry. So what happened is I got a 3%. So in this case, if you wanted to go in and make it, you would hit download your submitted files after you looked at your grade, and you would open that submitted file and delete those first 8 pages, which were the merged letters. You would then be left with just the content that you worked with in the merged document. Then you would make the changes to your master document and you would remerge it and then recopy those 8 pages into the beginning of it. So this is really fun. The power of merge is absolutely amazing. I used to make $50 an hour working for politicians and fundraisers to create thousands of personalized letters for their recipient list. And it's incredibly valuable in the workplace as well as personally because I also used it to create personalized invitations and thank you notes whenever my children had events or I had events. So I strongly encourage you to do your best to master this and be able to use it in your life and in your personal life. And if you ever have problems with it, you know what it's called now. It's called Merge, and it's in the Mailings tab. And there will be plenty of videos out there to show you how to do it again.